everybody, and welcome to the Random Select. And we are talking about Scorpion in this episode. I am Cyborg, and I am joined by Downforality, and we are starting a new show here on the channel. So, along with the Nethercast proper, the Warrior Shrine, and the Lost, we figured we have some extra stuff that we could be covering, and we're hoping to fill that. We're gonna fill that hole for you. So, as long as you'll let us, we are consensual in that fashion. How are you doing? First of all, Down4, you've been on several of our podcasts in the past, the Warrior Shrine or the Nethercast, and you've been a member of the community since the beginning, pretty much. I mean, we interacted on MKO before, obviously, we even started the whole Nethercast thing in general, so figured we'd start this. How are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing good. It's going well. Excited.
Excited? Are you excited? All right.
Pumped, yeah.
Okay. I scared my dog, but we are good to go. Zatanna is okay now. So, anyways, on that note, how this is going to work is, just for like a preface on what this is going to be all about, is we are going to be breaking down characters, stages, or even maybe other aspects of the game, like modes, etc. But we're only going to do one per episode. So these are going to be a little bit shorter. Not too short, but shorter than a super long form podcast, as short as we can get them. And we are going to still be trying to cover everything about that character, but this is about Mortal Kombat 11, or the stage, or the mode, etc. So on this one, we are going to be covering Scorpion. We figured, let's start there. Most times, we're going to have a guest on, okay? So it's going to be Downforality and myself, and we will normally be joined by somebody in the community. Specifically, someone that's a fan of that character or that stage or that mode. So we want to bring on other people to voice their opinions, their desires on the mode, give somebody else essentially a platform to speak on what they like about it and get their voice heard. So normally we're going to be doing that, but I figured for the first episode, let's just do Downforality and myself, so that way we can introduce ourselves to everybody that's listening, and then we will start the guest hopefully next time. And
I wanted to mention too, like, if you want to join the Discord and do this, it's like, this is a good time to join the Discord if you have a favorite character you want. If they do show up, it's like,
absolutely,
get ready and
Amen. You join the Discord, you come in, and you can hopefully join us. If your favorite character is Sonya, for example, and when we do the Sonya episode, we'll put out a little notification letting people know, hey, this is what we're doing. So if you are a Sonya fan and you'd like to join us, let us know, and we'll hopefully bring you on. I think we're only going to do one person at a time because we believe in monogamy. So yeah, we'll keep it simple in that regard. I don't want to go too crazy now. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That would be a shame. But we'll definitely get a lot of people on, hopefully, and get to know a little bit more about you guys. So speaking of which, we're going to start this off learning a little bit more about each other. So when we bring on guests, we're going to ask them some questions, sort of like a community spotlight. Like, for example, when did you first get started in Mortal Kombat? How did you get first started with Mortal Kombat? What was that experience like? So, starting things off, let's get Downforalities and my answers out of the way, and then that way in future episodes we can talk about the guests. So before we start diving into Scorpion, like a spear, let's go ahead and start off. So Downforality, how did you first get into Mortal Kombat?
Alright, so I've been into MK since I was like a little kid. At least like 2 or 3. Like my brother had it, and
Sure.
I think it was MK4 Trilogy. I can't remember which because it blends together, but
Right.
yeah, I think it was just like the colors that attracted me to it, and like all the ninjas and just how it looked. It just looked awesome. It was like nothing I'd ever seen, and I like all the toys and all that, and I just grew up with it basically. Like,
what toys did you have around that time? I'm curious.
I had like the MK1 ones. Yeah, I had like MK1 ones.
Like the little G.I. Joe ones?
Yeah, those, and like I remember once like before school I was trying to get the reptile like boat one, and we got outbid, and I was like super pissed off, but
yeah, that's interesting. Reptile on a speedboat.
Yeah.
Speaking of the toys and all that, my oldest brother, who's 8 years older than I was, so he's the one that sort of got me into Mortal Kombat, because I was kind of piggybacking off of yours. I was only 3 to 4 years old when I first started playing Mortal Kombat back in '94. and I played the original Mortal Kombat at a neighbor's house, the neighbor's house right next to us. We were in just this little crappy part of town. Our house was just a complete like just pile of shit. So came from a very like poor area at that time growing up, and they had a Super Nintendo, so it was pretty damn awesome. And this had to have been in, I want to say, like early to mid '94, because we moved away from
Damn.
that city late '94, early '95. So I know it had to have been sometime in '94, I'd imagine. And I think Mortal Kombat 1 came out in late '93. So I'm imagining '94. That's my best guess. And yeah, I remember specifically being drawn to the characters on the select screen. That's why I've kind of preached about the backgrounds on the select screen and just the
Yeah.
visuals and the color, because just I can still like close my eyes and picture what that select screen looked like back when I was little, and just being fascinated with like the sun behind Liu Kang or the frozenness behind Sub-Zero. It kind of gave you a sense of who these characters were, and I was just like you, like drawn to the ninjas. They were colorful, they were badass, the gameplay, everything. I mean, I was, when you're like 3 or 4, you're just drawn to what, you know, little kids are drawn to, and that's primarily what, I mean, visual, that's the first thing like you form an opinion on something is usually visually. So I think Mortal Kombat definitely is a visual series in that regard, especially the original games. So it sounds like we had kind of a similar start with the series in that regard of what drew us to the game around the age that we both started. So yeah, that's good to, that's cool. That's pretty badass.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
my next question would be, what's your favorite thing? And this is going to obviously depend on who we're covering at the time, but for this episode being Scorpion, what's your favorite thing about Scorpion?
My favorite thing about Scorpion is probably just like the skull in general. Like when I was a
You
kid,
love
I
his
just thought,
skull. You're like Predator, and
yeah,
you
dude.
just admire his skull.
Yeah, I
You're
take
like,
that skull to dinner.
what
Pretty
are
good.
you? Interesting. So you just like the idea of like a Ghost Rider type of character. That's what drew you to him, so to
Yeah, when
speak.
I played like MK4 and you could kind of see like the skull outline in his mask, like I just thought that looked so awesome. And
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's just cool. It's just like under that like face, it's like there's a skull. It's just that's so sick to me.
Under my face, there's a skull too. So do you like me?
But can you pull your face off and reveal your skull?
I mean, if I'm really determined to, I think I could
You
do that.
could
I might be in some pain, but I could just rip off right now.
do it.
I mean, it'll be a one and done episode, but at
It'd be a
least
hell of an episode
I
though.
will have won your favor. It needs to be a
Yeah.
video episode if we're gonna do that, and then I would die. It's like just take his face off.
Oh,
All right. So my favorite thing about Scorpion, to follow the same question there, is honestly, I think it's just his move, the spear move. I was never like a big fan of picking Scorpion throughout the games. His gameplay never really did too much for me. I was always more of a Sub-Zero guy myself growing up, but I do like just the sound effect of that whirling old rope spear coming
yeah.
out. That was badass. And setting up the free hit, you pull your opponent towards you. Because, I mean, Sub-Zero, right? You freeze your opponent. That's neat, but it's not as cool as dragging your opponent to you and then setting up for something like an uppercut. I just thought that was pretty badass. So that to
It's like
me,
Scorpion
go ahead.
Spirit's like it's like the blood too. It's like the blood shoots out and it's just like get over here. It's just
Yeah. Oh yeah. Get over here. Like it's just
it's one of the
get
sickest moves.
over here. It's just badass. It just rips your face off like I just did. So yeah.
That
No,
wasn't that bad.
I think it's badass. So like I said, Scorpion to me has been a little bit oversaturated over the years. He was never my favorite, but I mean, it's not like I
Yeah.
hate Scorpion by any means. He's still a badass and he's still a cool character. So definitely. And then the last question I'm going to ask here is, what is the one thing you are looking forward to most in Mortal Kombat 11?
I'm excited to learn the game for sure. I'm excited just for a new experience, just nothing like MKX. I'm just so excited about just like going into this and they changed everything. It's nothing like how Injustice 2 was with Injustice 1. It
Right.
was a very similar experience. This looks completely different. It looks like a game I'll look back on, even if it's not as good as X, or even if it's as bad as X. It's like
Right.
at least I have to give them props to for trying something new and
Sure.
going a different direction. So I think that's what I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I think I'm. The new gameplay definitely is exciting to me. But just to give a sort of different answer here, um, just visually, this game is just absolutely damn gorgeous. Like I
Yeah,
was kind of the biggest one speaking about give us more colors, give us more personality, more style. Everything in this game is giving you more style, and we will get into that when we talk about Scorpion's design in this game. But man, this game is just it has style dialed up to 11, and I absolutely love that. And the life bars, the meters, the colors in the backgrounds, the colors on the characters, everything. Even when you're in changing their gear pieces, how the characters change animations just to show you that gear piece. I am absolutely just I'm in awe on how great it looks. So
the
to me,
presentation is amazing.
yes, presentation. Thank you. Very, very good. All right. Well, with the pleasantries out of the way, let's get down to the real thing that everyone's coming here for, and that is to hear us talk about Scorpion. So, we have kind of an order here that we're going to try and hit, so that way we can hit everything about the character. If you're listening live, you can put some questions in the chat if you'd like. We'll get to them eventually. Or if you have some thoughts, we will echo your thoughts as we go along. So if we're discussing something about the gameplay or the design of Scorpion and you agree or disagree or we miss something, feel free to point it out in the live chat, and then we will give you a shout out as we go and share your thought. And anyway, so starting off, I figure let's tackle the design. Let's tackle all the design elements of Scorpion and Mortal Kombat 11.
All right.
So, what is Mortal Kombat 11's big gimmick, so to speak? It's gear, right? So it's kind of borrowing from Injustice the idea of gear. It's dialed it back a little bit. So we only have 3 gear slots, it seems, in Mortal Kombat 11. And for Scorpion, that is his spear, his swords, and his mask. So starting off with the spear, what are you hoping for from that little spearhead at the end of it, the little arrowhead, whatever you want to call it? Do you want like that snake from the movie, that weird little demon snake? Do you want something like that to be a legendary piece of gear?
Honestly, if that was an option, I would be okay with it. Like as silly as it sounds, like
It
that'd be
just
kind of neat.
his hand opens like a female anatomy, and it's all like that was a poor impression,
Oh,
but you get the idea.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, anyways, so I'm just happy they have the actual classic kunai in there. And I think that's like the standard, right? So that's like
yeah. It is.
it's default. I think that's sweet.
I probably won't even change it. Like it just already looks good.
I agree. I agree. I'll probably just stick with the even though at the event the crowd was oohing and on at the weird little glowy one at
Yeah,
the end. That was kind of like from X and 9 and stuff, how it's gotten a lot more elaborate as we've gone. It's been a scorpion stinger looking one. It's
yeah. It's
been
got some like flames on it and stuff.
yeah. So I think I'm gonna stick with the regular one as well. So I agree with you in the
I will
sense
say I
that
was
simple is better.
yeah. I was hoping that there would be an option for like a rope dart, but seeing how he uses it so much in his gameplay, I don't think that's possible.
Agreed.
With how it
And
works.
yeah, when we get to the fatality, that definitely seems to be
Yeah,
the
that's
case
true.
where yeah, I don't think we'll get the rope, unfortunately, because I would prefer the rope over the chain, but he's all chains all day. They doubled down on
Yeah.
the Ghost Rider effects. Well, moving on from his spear, we have his swords. So he has 2 essentially wakizashis on his side. I don't They call them katanas, but I don't think they're as big as katanas are, but I mean semantics, whatever. The
Yeah.
swords on his side, you can change the style of those. Is there anything that comes to mind that you're hoping for in terms of
Uh,
customization with those, or are you just happy with classic old, simple ninja swords?
yeah, I'm happy with it so far. I'm really glad. Like in MK9, they had like scorpion stingers on it. It looked kind of dumb in that game, and I'm just happy it's not on his back anymore because that shit never made sense.
Yeah,
And it's so much better placed on his hip now, like an actual katana. That is really cool to me.
100% agree. I
So
love that they're on his hip rather than the back. I just think that looks way cooler. I don't know, like from a ninja standpoint or a samurai standpoint, which is more like he's kind of borrowing some elements from a samurai to a degree, but
yeah,
I don't mind it. I mean, it looks badass, so
just
I'm
in
not going to
general,
complain.
he's way more like a ninja now, like an actual ninja.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they've gone more in the ninja route instead. I mean, they still have a lot of like the Hellspawn type of specter to him, and we'll get to
Oh
those
yeah,
aspects as well. But yes, they've really gone further down the ninja route, so I am absolutely in favor of that.
for sure.
So in the chat, we have Aramon saying, as well as Kilmansky, saying that they really want to see the movie spear in there. They think that would be a sick gear piece. So clearly there's some traction there. NetherRealm, you are welcome. So
I'm
check.
sure they
I'm
thought
sure the
that.
check's in the mail. It's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be patched in day one, I'm sure. But
Oh.
yeah. So the last piece of gear that you can change on Scorpion is his mask. So the actual thing, and the mask includes
It
the.
doesn't change the hood, it just changes the
Okay,
mask.
yeah. So it must be
Okay.
the skins. I think the skin changes the hood, and then the
Yeah,
mask is
yeah.
just the mask. So
I think you're right.
his default mask is the golden one we see kind of in the trailer, where it's all goldeny and gold, very gold. You know, the one that comes in the
Yeah.
collector's edition.
It looks like kind of like a skull, a little bit.
Yeah, it's got some elements on it.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I'm hoping. You know, I like the classic look, so I'll probably go there. But no, I don't hate
Hmm.
it. I think this is a strong design overall for Scorpion. So I do not hate the mask for sure. They showed off some cool options for him. I do like the MK,
Yeah.
the Sub-Zero Mythologies mask. I guess technically it
Yeah, it's like the
is.
MK2 Mythologies mask.
Yeah.
It looks good though. I think it actually looks really good.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. I'm hoping to see like his MK4 mask, where it's like the
Yeah, me too.
very sharp cheekbones and all of that, the sunken in, all that good stuff. So
He does have his MK available as well, so they're not
interesting.
completely like he had his MK2 mask, the MKX, a cloth one, and an Oni one, and then his regular one, I think.
Right. I wonder if we'll get
Yeah.
the MK like DC where it looks like a face hugger is just attacking his face,
Yeah, I'd like that too. That looked
the
good.
scorpion on him. So yeah, options are great. So
Shaolin
far,
monks, something like that. Yeah.
yeah. So moving on from gear, we have skins. So the difference, because some of us weren't sure what was going to happen between gear and skins. How do you differentiate? What purpose does each serve? So how the skins work, from our understanding, is they change the overall attire they are wearing, not the gear pieces. Those will still remain the same, but the overall like attire. So everything else that essentially gear isn't changing, that's what a skin's going to change. So his like the ninja V-neck and all that type of stuff, that's changed with the skin. So what are your thoughts on the default skin with the armor and all of that stuff on the shoulders?
Yeah, I'd like to say I do prefer this system way more than Injustice 2 because like
Yes.
it's like actually getting an outfit now. It's not like mix and matching legs with like some other top that doesn't go with it at all. It's like it gives you the skin, but then you can have options to change it with like shaders and the gear and stuff. So it
You,
changes everything except for the gear, which I really like. I
yes,
think
I
that's
mean, I agree wholeheartedly. Your pants got to match your top. You know, you can't have horizontal stripes on, let's say, your top and then vertical stripes on your pants. That is a fashion nightmare. So,
yeah, I think it's
luckily they're doing it a little bit differently from Injustice 2 to where it's kind of the best of both worlds. You can have your thematic attires, but you can also change little bits if you desire.
you think it'll allow for more variety since like the skins are completely their own thing. You can't really have like slightly different skin unless they do go that route. But how do you feel about that? Do you think that's good?
Um, yes and no. It really just depends how they implement everything. I don't think we've seen enough of the skins to
Hmm.
really have a full judgment call on that, but I do like how they are implemented so far from what we've seen. So I don't know, man.
Good.
So yeah, it's still
It's
up in
hard to
the air.
judge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still up in the air. And yeah, Kilmansky said they got to have MK1, 2, and Ultimate MK3 skins. Absolutely, for the ninjas
Yeah, for sure.
especially. So I hope they
Which
don't
he,
skimp on those. I mean, you can reuse those gear pieces for different characters too, so I feel like
yeah,
you kind
that's
of
true.
have to.
And he did have his UMK3 in the trailer, so that's got to be in. So
Right.
yeah.
So piggybacking off skins before we move on, no pun intended, because we will move to moves next. All right, I'll shut up. So piggybacking off skins, we have shaders. So I didn't list that here, but they kind of fit into the gear and skins discussion. Shaders, are you liking the black and green or the black and yellow or the red and whites or all the other crazy stuff we're seeing with Scorpion? What are your thoughts on the shaders?
Uh, I absolutely hate them. I think for the most part, like when I requested shaders, I thought they would go for like how in every single game, pretty much, Scorpion has like an orange alt color. I thought they'd go somewhere in that route where they get like a color that's like similar to what their primary is, but like red Raiden and blue Raiden. Like I thought they would go that route, but it
Right.
seems like they're doing the Injustice thing where they mix a color with like another color, like green and orange, and I just
Yeah,
don't think it looks very good.
I agree wholeheartedly. We both made a gentleman's agreement that we're not going to use obscene color schemes
Yeah.
for characters when we face each other
It
because
also
it
it
just gets silly.
changes. Yeah, like we've seen Scorpion has like a neon green spear and swords, and I'm just like, this just doesn't look good at all.
I
So
mean, I like the vibrancy of everything. I like it
yeah,
in concept, but yeah, I don't. I don't want to see a red and white Scorpion. I just don't. That's to me. It
me
is
too.
silly to think of these characters as if they only wear one color all the time. It is odd to think of them in like a real life setting, but this is Mortal Kombat. This isn't reality. We want to see the characters wear what we're accustomed, like what we've attached to them for all these years. Scorpion should be wearing yellow and black. And if he wants to implement
Yeah,
like a little red in his color scheme or a little gray in his color scheme, that type of stuff,
orange.
or
Yeah,
orange, yeah. If you keep it within that same kind of warm colors but you still primarily lean on yellow and black, I don't mind that. I don't mind red accents and stuff like that. What I
yeah, me
mind
too.
is where you completely lose all sense of that color scheme for that character. When you're going like Candy Cane Scorpion, that's where it's just like this is no longer enjoyable to me. Christmas
Yeah,
Scorpion.
like Django pointed out, he has like an X-Men color, like blue and yellow, and it really does look like as
Yeah.
if like Scorpion was in the X-Men. It's pretty bad.
And some characters have like red, white, and blue versions, like Murica
Yeah,
Scorpion. I just no, please don't. Please,
and
please
this wouldn't
no.
for me. This wouldn't be as big of a problem if it like in tournaments, randomized gear is a thing, and that's going to make most characters look
Yes.
really messed up. And
Hideous,
I
yes.
just, yeah, it
Eyesores
just
for
doesn't
sure.
make it doesn't make the game look good, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I think I wish they didn't pad it out like that. Like they have like 15 shaders for every character. I wish they would just say, okay, here are let's say 5 color schemes that really work for this character, and I think you can get it through pretty much the entire roster. Because I mean, even like alt colors for characters
Yeah.
in like when you do mirror matches, to me that you still maintain usually that character, what we're accustomed to seeing with that
Mhm.
character. With Scorpion, we generally got like an orange Scorpion in that regard, and that's fine. But
And
when you
Sub-Zero
have
had dark blue.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's just really odd to me to have those sort of color schemes for Scorpion. So I wholeheartedly agree. I'm personally gonna stick to the yellows, the oranges, the the blacks, the whites, all that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
I did see one shader I was okay with. It's the reverse of the yellow and black, so it's like he's wearing primarily black and then yellow like
Yeah,
highlights. So I was okay
yeah,
with that one, but it's just the
absolutely.
rest. Yeah, not doing it.
And I'm not opposed to like having these characters branch out a little bit more in terms
Yeah,
of expand their options, but no, I mean Christmas
to a limit.
Scorpion. Yeah, Christmas Scorpion
Yeah,
is not expanding his options. That just shouldn't exist. So unless it's like
yeah.
a Christmas themed attire, which is just funny, but no. I mean my biggest complaint with that is the people have talked about certain characters like guest characters ruining their immersion with the game. To me it's just as bad when you have like
I
these
agree.
characters that look like eyesores. It's like I don't want to see white and red Scorpion, I want to see Scorpion. So
It's the exact problem with like infrared scorpion and X. It's
yeah,
just like, why would you do that? It's just awful.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really really odd. Anyways, rant over, so let's move on to something more positive, and those are Scorpion's Scorpion's special moves and his moves in general, like as normals. They have a lot of visuals to it. So design wise, still talking about design here, man, I gotta say, Scorpion for me has never looked better from a design perspective, just the way he plays. And like I said, I'm not
Mhm.
talking about gameplay quite yet. I'm talking about like when he's doing like his forward fire breath. you can
Yeah.
see like that weird, like it's the skeleton effect where you see like the glowing fire inside of him with the
Mhm.
skeleton inside of him. To me, that looks so badass, and that's in several of his moves, and he looks so tight doing that stuff.
I fucking totally agree. Like I couldn't believe they emphasized his fire breath so much in this game since he hasn't had that since like MK4, but they went all out with it and they made it look awesome, like you said, with seeing him
Yeah.
internally almost. Like you can see
Yes.
his like
It's like an
where
X-ray
it's coming
effect
from.
almost, but of
Yeah.
just like fire inside of him. And I think those are the kind of decisions I'm so happy they made because that doesn't make sense at all. How can you see the fire inside of him with his skeleton with his clothes on and everything? It doesn't make any logical sense why we see that. But from like a style perspective, this makes Mortal Kombat to me. Like this is making this game just visually exciting and just awesome and awe inducing. So
Definitely.
it's super hype. So yeah,
I look at it like when he like picks you up and it's like, wouldn't that be scary if you saw like just him turn like fiery like
yes.
internally and saw his like skull and everything? It's like almost just like adding more to what he already does.
Yes,
And it's
it's
so good.
adding so much more personality and flair to this character. Like he has a move where he charges up and grabs you by the throat or whatever. Like he
It
does
is
like
so
a
sick.
dash, and he has that effect on that as well, where it's just goes. Yeah, I just
It
love
has so
that
much
effect.
impact. Yeah.
Yes, it is creepy and cool and badass, all of it. So I definitely love that. So yeah, from just a specials standpoint, like I mean, the fire effects and everything just look top notch.
The
These,
spears too.
yeah, everything just
He
from
uses his kunai way like more like an actual kunai, like where he uses it in several of his strings, specials, and all that. And that's something Razer
yeah,
wanted for the longest time, and they finally did.
absolutely.
Raise.
Me too. It just makes him look like an actual martial artist and
Yeah,
like really utilizing that rather than just using it to pull people towards you. He's using it as an actual weapon. I mean, we saw a glimpse of that in the initial screenshots that were put up on Steam for Mortal Kombat
mhm,
11, where I made a comment where it looked like he was swiping somebody because he wasn't actually pulling him. It looked like it was just swiping. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm so happy to see that's the case. He looks badass where it's twirling around and he catches it with its foot or he kicks it towards his opponent. Like, yeah,
Definitely.
I, it is super, super awesome. When I played Scorpion at the event, I never had more fun with Scorpion. I mentioned that at the beginning. Scorpion from a design and gameplay just didn't really do a whole lot for me in past games to the point where I wanted to play him. And at the event, I had a lot of fun with him just from visual wise. I felt awesome doing a lot of his specials. So,
So would
absolutely.
you consider playing him in the actual game when it
Absolutely.
comes out?
Yes,
Nice.
yes. I mean, he's still going to be hopefully a long line of other characters that I want to play or
Hmm.
the characters that are like my favorites. Obviously, I'm going to gravitate towards them first. But from like a gameplay and a design perspective, absolutely. This would be the most tempting game for me to try him and actually learn him because he just looks badass when he's on screen.
Yeah, it's like Scorpion with every game. It's like it's hard to do more with him and be like impressed by Scorpion, but they pulled it off. It's like I never thought like for MKX I wasn't impressed by Scorpion at all when I saw him. He was fun to play, but it's still just like normal Scorpion stuff. But this
Yes.
game it's like he just revamped his moveset and just made him so much better
Yes.
than he already was.
Yep, they redesigned him and just man, he looks beautiful. So his idle animation. You wanted to talk about his idle animation, just his stance. So
Yeah.
just a little preface. So there are there's an animation video, right? I can't remember what his name is. The
I think it's Sugar Punch or
Sugar
something.
Punch. So he does the animation videos where he basically breaks down why the animation in certain games are bad or why they're good. So he made animation videos on MKX, Aaron Black specifically, on Injustice 2, Darkseid specifically. So he basically pointed out why the animation just did not make any sense. The characters, when they led with punches, they weren't doing so with their full body. They were just extending their hand out, so it lacked like real impact or felt like it had no weight behind it. So, anyways, he basically, and he also, I guess the reason why I brought it up, he pointed out that a lot of idle animations, like their neutral stances, just didn't make any sense. Like
Hmm.
it didn't make any sense because their body would be moving in ways that fighters don't move, and yeah, it just didn't seem
Yeah, like
natural.
originally, like Scorpion had his hand up and he moved it like in MK4,
Right.
but in X it was like,
All over the
like
place.
yeah, it just didn't look good at all.
Yeah, it's like he was just waving all over like a wacky inflatable arm tube man. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was going nuts. And in this game, he's got his kunai right in his hand at the ready, which looks badass. He's
Mhm.
staying pretty, still. Like he's got a little movement, very subtle movements, but I mean that's how your body works. When you're standing still and ready to fight, you're not
You're
just
gonna still
like
move. Yeah.
yeah, unless you're like trying to be super light on your feet like a Bruce Lee, you're gonna move a little bit, but it's not gonna be like insane eccentric movement. And I think yeah, the idle animation here looks really really good for Scorpion.
Yeah, he looks like he's ready for you to come at him. Like he has
Yes,
his spear in his hand, like ready, just right for you, just ready at a moment's notice to kick into action. God, it looks good. It looks good when he transitions into moves from the spear. Like it's perfect. Like it doesn't look janky at all.
right.
Like especially with the swords too and the kunai. Just it's so good.
And I mean, kind of piggybacking on the idle animation. So he's got a move that we'll get to a little later on the properties of it, but he's got a move that's essentially a sword stance. It's called Misery Blade, and when he switches to the stance, which also looks really good, he's got his hand right on his sword, much like the trailer where we saw
Mhm.
where he's like slowly sliding it out of the sheath, and
And it's
he's
super.
yeah, he's at the ready. So basically from that stance you can do many things, but man, those visuals look really good. Like I love the idea that he's just at the ready both with his kunai and with the sword. So I thought that
Yeah.
looked super badass, and I love the when you uh, amplify those moves, like the different basically ways you can pop out of that. You
Mhm.
can you can amplify it, and it does like a little fake out. If you press two coming out of it, let's say, it's going to do the opposite. It's going to fake you out with one of his like shadow punch effects, faking you out, making you think he's gonna do an overhead when he's gonna go for a low. So that can be really tricky. But yeah, I love the visual of that. Just looks so damn good.
Yeah, he can cancel it as well. So it's like he can use it in like a pressure string and then cancel it and go for like a throw or something.
Yeah.
Like that's super interesting.
Yes. Yes. It looks.
And yeah, it just looks good. Like he slowly pulls it out. Like
Yes.
you're guessing what he's about to do because he's slowly pulling out this sword
Always pull out
as he's
slowly. Yes.
yeah.
Frumblefoot in the chat said Ed really wants to see his homeboy in a tournament. LOL. Yes, I mean
He's gonna be
yes, he looks just so damn good. So yeah,
like
I hope so.
more than anyone. Like I've heard tournament players say, like Scorpion seems like he was the best in the demo because he is basically like anti the game basically because he's able to get past all the zoning and
Yeah,
I think Scorpion more than anything is going to be super popular in this game just for that reason. Like he probably is going to be easy to pick up and he's like a counter to the zoning. Like you don't have to deal with this shit.
right.
I'm Scorpion. I'm getting in. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
really like it. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from his idle animation and his stance that he can go into, let's talk about intro animation. What are your thoughts on his intro animation?
I like both of them. Like the Hell NATO or whatever he does.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know where they thought of that, but it's just he even does it in the story cutscene. I'm just like,
Is that
wow.
where he's
Like,
dabbing? Is what people are
yeah, I think
calling
so.
dabbing?
Yeah,
Even though he's not really burying his face into his elbow pit, but
he kind of dabs. It's
yeah,
kind of
it's like a half dab. It's so
yeah,
so odd to think of Scorpion doing that shit. But
dabbing on
yeah,
Chronica. Yeah,
it doesn't even really make me think of dabbing. It makes me think of like that like anime thing that where like the character or even the Dragon Ball Z thing where they're fusing, where they go into like that weird little
I
stance
can see
before they
that.
fuse,
Yeah.
and they usually throw their arms up like that. That's kind of what makes me think of. But yeah, no, I like the Hell NATO and all that kind of stuff. Look good. How about his outro animation? Do you remember what
His
the hell that
outro.
is? I don't even remember what his outro animation
I
was.
think it's the one from the screenshot where like slowly he kind of does this cool shit and then like throws his spear slowly at the screen.
Oh,
But I
okay,
can't
yeah.
remember what the other one is. If someone can mention that, because
Yeah, if you can think of his other ones in the chat, please let us
Oh,
know.
I remember. He does the spin thing. He kind of jumps up and then does like a
Oh
twirl.
yeah, that's so
Yeah.
weird. That's so weird.
You
I
like
like
it?
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I like it, but it's just really weird. But I
It's
don't
strange, yeah.
I don't think of Scorpion in that way where he like jumps up and does like a twirl like that.
It's cool though. Like
It's
it leaves like
anime.
the slow mo. Yeah, it is very
It's
anime.
very anime, and I'm okay with that because, like I said,
Yeah, like
it's all about being stylish, and this game is stylish, so I like that shit.
too. When people were like pointing out like he has like he holds his fingers up like a ninja, like the double like finger, the index finger and the middle finger.
Right.
He does that like ninja pose. Like that is so sick to me that he actually does that type of shit in this game.
Yeah, Smoke Man in the
So
chat is saying, love when he bends his knees and has his arms fully out. I bet you do, buddy. But yeah, no, that's badass. He looks great. Man, I just can't stop talking about how awesome he looks. But yes, he's definitely Naruto-ish, as Armand pointed out. But that's okay. Like I said, I'd much rather have anime style to a degree, to a point, obviously. I'm not a big
yeah,
anime guy, but I can appreciate some of the exaggerated movements and over the top style that it offers. I can appreciate that so much more than something like MKX where everything's just so subdued or misplaced or washed out, that type of stuff. This game is just overflowing with style and I love it. It's just beating me over the face, slapping me, if
yeah.
you will. Okay, and then so let's move on to his voice actor. So this was kind of a controversial subject with his voice actor. So it was Patrick Seitz, is that his name?
Yeah, Patrick Seats.
Or Seitz or whatever.
I think yeah, yeah.
He got replaced and he wasn't aware of it as far as we're aware. So we're not going to go into that whole mess. But
It does suck, but
yes,
yeah.
but the guy that replaced him, I don't. Was that ever confirmed? Who
People
that
say it's
was?
Kevin Conroy. I don't think it is, but no, I don't think we know who it is yet.
Yeah, I mean he sounds good from everything I've
I
heard.
yeah, I like him. He has like Patrick Seats nailed like the raged out like
Right.
Scorpion who's all vengeance will be mine and shit, but this Scorpion is like chill as fuck and he's like talking to Sub-Zero like he's like a long friend and shit. Like it's I love it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, so far, I have no complaints with his voice actor. Sounds perfectly fine to me, so no
I do think
issues.
Patrick Seats could have did a really good job with Scorpion in this game. It's just I'm okay with the new voice act,
Yeah, yeah,
new direction that they went. That might have been a reason why maybe they felt like
yeah.
this guy would be a better
I mean,
suited for this game.
it's not up to us to crap on the new guy just because of the raw deal. Patrick Seats,
Exactly.
you know, the new guy had, I'm sure, nothing to do with that. He's just looking for a job like anybody else. So yeah, I mean, we're here to comment on how his stuff is going on, and it sounds like he sounds pretty damn good to me. So I'm
You
perfectly
like it
fine
too?
with
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
But
no complaints.
I will
So
say
go ahead.
it is kind of hard to hear him at times, but that might just be the audio mix in general because
Yeah.
I had a hard time hearing Scarlet as well. So I hope they up the voices a bit.
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
Smokeman says, "I won't let innocence suffer to ease my pain."
that's a great line.
Oh, that's a good one. It brings a tear to a glass eye.
Warms your heart.
Yes, pun
Warms
intended.
your heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pun intended. I see what you did with the little X-ray
Feel
with the
good.
heart and everything with the fire around it. Yeah, I got you. All right, so let's move on to intro dialogues and anything that sticks out to you with intro dialogues for Scorpion.
Not off the top of my head. I can't. I'm bad at remembering like direct intro.
Yeah,
There is
me
like a
too.
Chaos Realm one, but that's just
The only one
kind of
that
tongue in cheek, I think.
Yeah, the one that stuck out to me was the ketchup and mustard video where he's talking to Sub-Zero and basically Sub-Zero says, "I'm not cold enough to, you know, like make light of or make a sarcastic comment about the death of your family and clan."
Yeah, he said
And then
he wouldn't
Scorpion
mock
was
that.
like
Yeah.
very respectful towards Sub-Zero, and I thought that was a cool little back and forth between them.
Yeah, I do. I like that too. I hope there's more intros than there were in the demo in the final game because their back and forth seems really fucking awesome. It's good to
Yes.
see them actually be friends and shit than
Yeah, I mean,
just
it's about time.
enemies. Yeah.
Until we get, you know, old timeline Scorpion and Sub-Zero that are
Yeah.
at each other's throat again. You gotta know there's gonna be like the old Scorpion's gonna meet up with the new Sub-Zero and like, you killed my family and clan. Okay, so Judge posted in the chat, Scorpion, I still grieve my wife and son, Sub-Zero. I'm not so cold as to mock your pain, Scorpion. A wise choice, Sub-Zero. That's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes,
That's
very
awesome.
cool. That's like a tea kettle scene right there, just in an intro dialogue. It's good
And she
stuff.
also said, Steve Barron said they're going to have the crazy Scorpion versus the regular Scorpion
Right.
uh, in the story, so that should be interesting.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they finally gave Scorpion some more development, so it'll be interesting to see old Scorp versus new Scorp in that regard. That's pretty much covered all the design elements of Scorpion for the most part, at least
But
the major parts.
I did want to ask just what do you think of his like main primary design? Because I think we like went over that, but we
Uh,
didn't cover his complete primary.
Yeah, I like it. I actually prefer actually the one that Judge just put up in the chat. I
Mhm.
prefer that one more, the kind of motocross looking Scorpion, classic Scorpion. I actually
Is
prefer
that
one of his
is that the one we saw?
variations. Well, there was a variation at the event that I don't remember. It was the one with the, like where you could swing around the chain and stuff.
Uh,
And that one at the event, that one had that outfit attached to it. So I really like that one. It looks simpler. It doesn't have like the big armor on it or anything. I just
yeah,
like that kind of very dark black with the stark, yellow attached to it. I thought it looked really good. And I don't think it has a hood. It has which I don't mind Scorpion with the hood, even though I think that is more of like a noob thing. But
mhm.
no, I'm fine with the default design. I thought it looked cool in the trailer, and just in the game, I think the default design looks good. So yeah, no problem with me. I don't mind the big armor on it. It's not over the top. It's not like Injustice. It's not to that level, but it looks good. I don't mind the red accents either. So
Yeah. I was originally really hard on the design because I thought the color scheme was kind of all over the place, and those screenshots I don't think did it justice at all because in game it looks great. Like I don't know why the screenshots just gave me such a bad vibe. I guess it got like an Injustice vibe with the
sure,
armor and stuff, but I was originally just confused because it's like silver leg and arm guards, yellow, red, and then a gold mask. It just seemed kind of all over the place, but I think it works really well in the actual game. I think
agreed.
it's really good.
Yes,
And yeah, his retro I think is really good too. It's something interesting because in that screenshot he has pupils, but
yeah,
in the game he doesn't. So, but they did say that was a very early build with the
yeah,
screenshots, so maybe that's something they changed, or if
yeah.
that's a
It's
code piece or
possible.
something. Yeah,
I think I like that kind of retro-ish attire because it's like a retro attire that's modernized.
yeah, it's updated.
It's
Yeah.
not like, because some of the ones in like X especially, or even 9 to a degree, some of the classic attires just do not translate well in my opinion.
Mhm.
But they've gotten so much better, like the jump from X to 11, the modeling, everything looks just so much better that seeing an old attire kind of modernized in a way, kind of streamlined in certain spots, but or added a little more detail to them. I thought it looks really good here for Scorpion. So yeah,
I
I'm a
definitely
fan.
agree. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's made out of like a texture. It looks like actual gear. It's not like a Halloween costume. It looks like this is something he could wear other than his like primary and like battle and shit. Like it looks
Right.
good to
And
me
as
too.
Milk pointed out in the chat, that it doesn't look painted on. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything just looks much better design wise, and modeling. So let's move on to gameplay here. So right away, I mean, you think gameplay, you think combos. Any combos come to mind for Scorpion? It's hard to keep up with, obviously, a lot of the combos. Are there any
Yeah.
that stuck out to you as, man, that's a cool combo?
Yeah, I think just like using his how his teleport works now, you're able to amplify it for the bounce. So it's like
Sure.
normally it doesn't bounce. If you amplify it, it like juggles like MKX kind of, but he does like a sword slice upwards.
Yeah.
And like he still has that like normal teleport combo stuff, but it looks even better because he's able to end combos with like the crushing blow or the chain spin thing, or he's able
Yes,
to
yes.
yeah.
No,
I think it
yeah,
looks good.
Ketchup and Mustard were doing some really awesome Scorpion combos that I really appreciated, and yeah, I love the use of the chain and all of that, the kunai and all of that into his specials. It looks really really good. I feel like they down. I mean, he still's got some sword action in there, but
Mhm.
they
Yeah,
kind of went
it's a
the
lot
opposite
less.
direction. They dialed back the sword use a bit in favor of more of the kunai, which I think is a smart move because I think Scorpion and a unique element of Scorpion is not the swords. Other characters have swords, and a lot of games have swords and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, but not many characters carry a chain kunai around with him. So that is a badass element, and I definitely think that was a right decision to implement that more in his normals and his combos and his specials.
100% agreed. And how do you feel about this spear not comboing normally now? You have to amplify
Uh,
it for it to combo.
it felt a little awkward in the. That was the one thing that was kind of tripping me up when I played it at the event was every time I would do it, it would do the little pull him past you and then attack him thing. So you didn't really set up for a free hit.
What was
I
the
think
input to amplify it?
I don't think I ever did while I was actually at the event.
Oh,
I spent
okay.
a little less time with Scorpion, so I didn't really get too far into amplifying any of his stuff. But
Gotcha.
um, I think I heard that it's the opposite. Basically, you do back forward one or whatever it is, back forward two, one of
Uh,
those to bring them towards you, and then you do like down up or up down to, and then a button. Maybe that's just a pure
okay.
speculation guess. I thought I heard somebody say that it's like a pretzel basically to make it happen.
Interesting. I
So
didn't know that. Wow.
if that's the case, I don't, yeah, obviously don't take that as factual. That's just me guessing based on that pretzel comment. But yeah, no, I'm fine with it that that you have to enhance. I mean, look, things are going to change in this game. That
Mhm.
is absolutely for sure. Gameplay for some of these characters, a lot of them will change in this game. So some of the favorite things that you are used to getting for free, you're going to have to spend meter on because that's just the meta has changed, the way they've implemented meter has changed. So I think they're trying to make you have to earn some of the more combo heavy opportunities that you normally get so for free. So him having to amplify to get the essentially the free hit setup, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, with the meter refill, it's not even that bad now. It's
Right.
not like you're spending a bar. You're spending bar that will refill super quickly after you do it. So,
Yes.
and his combos seem to take good amount more than the other characters. So it's like you'll probably get like half of that refilled by the time you're finished
Yeah.
with the combo anyway.
Moving on from combos, so I mean we're kind of continuation with gameplay stuff, so a lot of this molds into each other. But so his special moves and his abilities that you can apply. So some that take single slots, some take multiple slots, as with all characters it seems. So right away, I just want to make some shout outs to the ones that I really thought were impressive. Obviously, all the kunai stuff, swinging around the chain and all of that looks badass. Like I said, he implements his foot and all of that. I really like the use of that because or even like the advancing fire breath, like that just I'm so happy they made these actual abilities in there, like having his toasty breath in there. I mean, he's had a lot of
Yeah,
this stuff over the years, except for the kunai stuff, so it's nice to see a lot of that implemented. I love the potential with the misery blade, the mix-ups, as somebody said in the chat a little earlier. Let me look back here that it was essentially a 33. It's a three-way mix-up. Essentially, he was making a joking Paulo face. Frumblefoot said that. So yeah, it's that one looks like it has a lot
well,
of potential, especially with the
yeah,
amplify being a fake out.
but it's the best type of mix-up because you don't get a combo off of it. You get both knockdowns, or you get a mid option, which is
Right.
probably going to be safe on block. So it's like there's a lot more options with that.
Yeah, no, it's not really a combo starter. You can do like you can combo into that stance, so you can even cancel out of that stance. So
Yeah,
it's really interesting your options with that stance. It looks really cool.
I'm guessing the variation that has that will be probably based most around the stance and then added a
Yes.
couple moves because we don't know what like variations have these moves yet. It's like there are the preset variations, but I'm guessing they'll mix and match some moves before the game comes out.
Right. From a
Uh,
tournament standard, yeah, we're not
yeah,
sure how they're
exactly.
going to allow, what else they're going to tag on with that. So we don't know how powerful that's going to be.
Yeah, and Killmansky did point out that he does have a fireball that looks very similar to how Smoke throws a smoke ball.
Yeah,
So
I'm not sure how to feel about that because like on one sense it looks badass. It looks cool. I like that score. Once again, he's doing more things. He's using his powers in new unique ways. So I like that. That's what I
yeah,
want from every character. I want every character to use their powers as many ways as possible. That's what's exciting about this. But at the same time, it doesn't act like smokes, smoke bombs
yeah,
because
it doesn't function.
it pops them up a little bit, but that's it. Whereas smoke obviously brings them down from the top of the screen. So I don't know. It's just weird because I want to see human smoke in this game, and I don't want
Me
that to be a
too.
factor. But at the same time, they're gonna give if human smoke does make the game base roster DLC, they're going to give him all of his own unique shit as well, and they're going to redesign him to a point, just like Scorpion and all the other characters. It's been 8 years since we've gotten that version of the character playable, so they're going to add all sorts of new toys for him to play with, so it's perfectly fine.
I agree. And that's also something with like Injustice 2 when I saw like Sub Zero and Raiden have very similar X gameplay in that game. It's like I worried that this game would have legacy gameplay as well. Like we would get a very similar Raiden and Sub Zero, but everyone looks different. Like
Yes.
Sonya, Baraka, Sub Zero, Scorpion, all of them play very differently than they did. They
Yeah.
keep similar elements, but it's a lot different.
Yeah, as Frumblefoot and you just alluded to and essentially explained, Legacy's out the window. So it is the opposite of Legacy, if as opposite as you possibly pretty much can get. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously you still have some specials still remaining, but man, these characters feel completely different than what they did before, and that's a good thing. I mean, obviously they still feel familiar, but in a good familiar where it's like you
Mhm.
have the things that really work and that you associate with the character, but then they've just expanded upon it like a ton. So I yeah,
I like this way more because it's like you get a new set of tools with your favorite character, and like you have to learn. You
yes,
basically just have to relearn your character, and I love that because you get new shit with your character. You get a new play style. It's like you're not gonna be playing the same human smoke that you did from MK9 in this
right.
game, or same Cabal or whoever. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
and
completely different.
it brings that sort of excitement and hype
Yeah,
and hope and desire. I mean, all of those emotions. There's a little cautious, and hesitance and a little scaredness. Obviously, all mixed. It's all rolled into a giant ball of fun because I mean, like you for right now. I mean, Cabal is going to be shown to us very soon, and
yeah.
you have no idea what to, you have no idea
I
what
was,
to
dude,
expect.
I was
Like,
literally just before the show. I was talking to Smokeman. I'm like, I want to be really excited for Cabal. Like I still am. I'm very excited, but it's like I guarantee he will not play almost anything like MK9 Cabal, which I'm okay with. But it's like I just hope this Cabal works for me,
yes,
and I'm just so pumped to see what they do with him, just in general.
yes, yes. That's, I mean, my whole roster desires break down to that is I want to see what my favorite characters do in this game because this game
Yeah,
just feels so different and visually this game is so different that I want to see how they're going to design those characters from a visual standpoint, from a game, everything we're talking about basically.
hmm
Design, gameplay, story. I want to see what they do with these characters in this completely like clean slate, fresh feeling MK game. Like yeah, more than ever, I'm really like happy and excited because we are learning all new mechanics, all new gameplay, all new design. Everything feels so fresh.
they're almost doing like exactly what we wanted because part of your reason
Absolutely.
was for the select screen thing was just the personality behind those designs that that dude like drew up is just it's like they're getting the personalities right through the gameplay now, and that's why we
Yes,
want
yes.
all of these characters back. Like even the
So
trilogy
much,
ones, like
yes.
I don't want Ermac in this game, but if he did get in, it's like fuck, he could be pretty sick.
I
Like
mean, here's the reality. We don't want certain characters in this game only because we want opportunities for the
it,
characters that, we really haven't seen in a while, but from like an actual like I mean, Sonya's living proof, Baraka's living proof that if a character like an Ermac makes the game, that necessarily, I mean, that we'd prefer maybe sit out for a little bit, maybe be DLC or whatever. If he makes the initial roster, or even DLC over somebody else, it's not because we don't think they're going to be exciting or fun or done really well. No, Ermac will probably be way cooler than he's ever been. It's yeah, so I'm with you. So even if a character makes it in that we're not necessarily rooting for, I have no doubt whatsoever that they're still going to be really badass because just this game, like you were saying, the personality of these characters through their gameplay and their designs has never been better. Never. Like
agreed,
this is taking their best that they've ever done and dialing it up so much. 150% in my opinion.
agreed. And Scorpion is a perfect example of that,
Exactly.
where
Yes.
he's been stale for all these years, and then they just completely fucking. It's like they just went to the drawing board and just like said, "We're doing different this time. Like this is gonna be the different game. You have a
Yes.
lot of good shit planned for this game." And I did not feel this way about X when I saw it. I didn't feel like I was more excited just for the prospect of a new MK when MKX was announced. I was just happy MK was back. This game, I'm legitimately excited for this game. I'm extremely hyped for this game because like for the last 2 weeks before the reveal, I wasn't hyped for the game because I was just worried it was going to be MKX 2.0, like how Injustice 2 was
Right.
with Injustice 1. But no, they just completely like blew my expectations out of the water. Like I just, yeah, it's incredible how they're doing everyone. Like I just can't wait to see like the final game and see the
Yes.
final roster and
Everything.
how
Yeah.
everyone.
Just all. Yeah, man. It's just. Yeah. It's super super hype. Continuing on with Scorpion. So we have his throw. Any thoughts on his throw?
Uh, well, one thing I did want to point out is that this game has like forward and back throws like MK9 has, so like it has a different animation depending on if you forward throw or back throw. So like Baraka, he'll bite your arm if he like throws you backwards and then he'll toss you back.
Yeah.
But with his forward throw, he like bites your leg and then kicks you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's two different animations which I really like, and
Right.
I think his first throw is like he guts you like in the trailer,
Smoke Man
and
saying
that's
it's the other way around.
okay. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. It's the
Yeah, you
same
know what he means, Smoke
thing.
Man.
Yeah. But
How dare you?
the what you call it his other throw I can't remember. It's the backbreaker one, or is that just part of the brutality? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If somebody wants to clarify in the chat, while they do that, well, Smoke Man says that's the brutality, so that clarifies that. So he has an air throw as well, which is badass that you can amplify for further damage as well. And he also has one of his special abilities and moves is he has a neutral jump punch. like
Yeah, that's interesting.
it's really interesting. I thought to myself, is every character going to have a neutral jump punch for one of their slots? I don't think so. I feel like that's going to be unique to certain characters. I doubt that
Mhm.
Scorpion's going to be the only one that has that opportunity. But now you even if let's say even if every character had a neutral jump punch as one of their ability slots, it still takes up a slot, right? So you're
Yeah,
choosing to give up something else to be able to do that neutral jump punch, which I like that trade off. So I'm not the
I
biggest
agree.
neutral jump punch fan, but I'm okay if you're giving up something to be able to do that ability, that's perfectly fine with me. But I would prefer overall that it's unique to certain characters. I like the idea of certain characters having those different tool sets to a degree.
Yeah, I like that they didn't completely like disregard it. They're like, oh, delete this function from the game. No, they gave it
Dude,
to like a few characters. Like that's kind of tight.
what if
I'm curious. Sorry, go on.
no, I mean, go ahead, finish your thought because I
So
have something
excited.
that's going to
Okay.
change what we're talking about to a
Well, I
degree.
was just gonna say, I wonder where they're gonna place that neutral jump punch and what variation. Like, how is that gonna function with the other moves that are in that variation? Because I don't know if that was like an ability they put on, like one of those types of moves, because it doesn't belong in any of the
Yeah,
variations yet, the preset ones.
right,
So
right.
yeah,
What
sorry, go
if
on.
no, I was just going to say I just thought of this. So the idea of a neutral jump punch being an ability, what if there's an ability that allows a character to run?
Oh shit, dude.
What if there's
Yeah,
an ability that allows a character a breaker or something like a limited once per match breaker or a twice, something like that? Like,
yeah.
dude, they can do these game mechanics in a way that are unique to certain characters and they have to take up slots. Like, let's say Run takes up 2 ability slots, like for a rushdown character. So it would only be for a rushdown character. Like, I don't know, like something like that just blows my mind that Aramon says, please no.
I swear to God, dude, if like a ball has like a command run like fucking MKX, I'll be pissed off because I don't think I want that. But I mean, it would be cool. I like the utility. Like,
I'm just, yeah, I mean,
that
I'm
would be
not,
interesting.
I don't know how I feel about it. So I'm not like, I'm not championing the idea and campaigning for it. But I just came to me like, okay, neutral jump punch is an ability for Scorpion as one of his slots. What if
That makes
some of those
sense.
other gameplay elements, or like, what if you get an ability that increases your backdash or gives you a further front dash, like just
Mhm.
like actual mobility options through these abilities is just blowing my mind of that potential where you can it's not just like a I mean essentially specials act as some of these things. Like you can have a special where a character runs across the screen really fast and does a move or something to get in that you'd be able to cancel like Cabal can do with his dash. So I don't know. I just
Honestly, yeah, I think you're onto something because they did say part of like the balancing in this game is going to be adding moves and taking moves. I don't know about taking moves, but they definitely said adding moves to variations to make a character better if they're like lacking in some regards. So maybe they did plan on like some run type or like breaker or neutral jump punch for
Yeah,
just like small moves that they don't have to program like super
everybody
complex
around. Yeah,
animations for. Yeah. So maybe that is a thing that could happen.
I
I wouldn't even be surprised at this point.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Certain characters should be doing things that other characters don't necessarily do. Like it's uh, like I said, Cabal is a great example of somebody that might get his run special that takes up two or three slots or whatever it is, and through that you can still cancel the run.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Maybe
I don't know.
yeah, maybe I
You
would be okay with that.
then you can have utility there. And like I said, you can balance it by choosing how many slots it takes up. If you get something that's crazy, like a run mechanic for a rushdown character, then obviously take up all three slots. And that way they're limited on,
Yeah, and
nothing else to add on to that.
some something like that will probably be only available like in the competitive variations. I think it'll probably only be available in like one of the variations. So it wouldn't even be that entire character
Yeah.
that has access to like run or whatever. And I could see that being used for like someone like Reptile or something, someone that has like a dash or like a run or some type of that. Like
Right.
that would be awesome. That's a good idea.
So yeah, I mean, even like like extending it to like a breaker or something like that's just it blows
Yeah.
my mind to give like this character. Maybe they're very good defensive wise or whatever. I mean, we've already seen it with Garrus and having the Jason second chance type of thing as an ability where he, after he dies, he comes back to life for a little bit more health. So, I mean, nothing's really off the table here. You could have a character that has like a once per round breaker to get out of a combo
Yeah, I
for
think
free.
it would make sense to like give like a high risk, high reward character like a breaker. So like, okay, you get broken that one time and then you're out, but it's like you get high reward for your high risk. So it's like mix ups, but it's like you can break if you get like shit on
Right.
early on in the match, but then it's like that breaker's gone for the rest of the match. So
So,
that
anyways,
would be
but
fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just the neutral jump punch with Scorpion obviously is what led to this idea or conversation. If you're giving him a mechanic that has been essentially taken out, I don't know. It's interesting to think of that idea or like giving a character like a X-ray or I don't know. Like it's just there's I think the possibilities are endless in that regard of giving. Like I said, you can mess with dashes and all that good stuff. So I
yeah.
like that.
I do think you're on some because Razor was like, oh, Ed gave Scorpion the neutral jump punch because he's like his favorite character, or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, they could do that for other characters. That's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about crushing blows. So we know that Scorpion. We've seen some of Scorpion's crushing blow potential. So I think he has one that's on like a failed tech throw. So if the opponent tries to tech his throw and they're unsuccessful, they guess wrong essentially. Then
Yeah,
his throw instantly becomes amplified. So I like that because you're taking a risk by trying to tech his throw. So if you're pressing buttons wildly, you're gonna have that throw get even worse on you. So I like
it's
that. Or if you're trying to play that game, then you might like if you press nothing, then I don't think it amplifies. But if you try to guess, essentially, then you might be punished for it. So that's an interesting
yeah.
mechanic.
I think it adds into the meta of like maybe the Scorpion player doesn't want to throw for like a good majority of the match, but since his throw does damage over time, maybe he'll start throwing more near the end of the match. So like that's a good time to throw in case they don't tech it or they tech wrong.
Right.
It's like they're taking damage down the clock. It's like they don't have a lot of damage left. Like I think it'll add a lot to the meta for this game.
Araman says, not a fan of someone guessing wrong and getting punished for it. It's all in how it's executed. I agree in theory, but at the same time, that's what fighting games are, right? It's essentially a read and a guessing game to a degree. Obviously, you don't want the whole game to be like that because then you end up with MKX. It can't
Yeah,
be overemphasized, but I mean the concept of fighting games is you need to be able to understand what your opponent's going to do. You got to read and you got to be able to react. And if you read wrong and you react wrong, you're going to get punished for it no matter what. So, I mean, I see where you're coming from. I see the idea of the 50-50 guessing, you're guessing wrong, but I don't know.
yeah, I do agree with him. Like I don't like the throw tech system in
I agree with
MKX
that.
at all.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I am not a fan of the
But
tech throw system of guessing one way or the other. I think you should be able to just tech a throw. Like if you know they're about to throw you and you press say you're trying to throw them back, then that
yeah,
should tech it or whatever. So I agree with that.
I'll have to see how it feels in game. Maybe they improved it maybe it's easier to react and it's more reactive
Sure.
because but it is only once per game too. The crushing blow only happens once per game, so it's like once you guess wrong on that throw and you get the crushing blow, it's like you can't do that again. So you're free to tech whatever. I
Um,
like it personally. I think it's interesting.
yeah, I mean, we'll see how it obviously shakes out as we kind of the meta plays out. If it's too
Yeah, it might.
strong or too
Yeah,
crazy. I mean, there's a lot of characters that get essentially crushing blows based off of punishing their opponent or, you know,
which I like.
yeah.
Yeah,
So he also has the crushing blow of the elbow after the spear. He has another crushing blow where he digs the kunai into. Well, that's his throw, right? The
yeah,
one
it's
where he
his throw.
digs it
Yeah.
into in their stomach. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm loving those so far from what I've seen. Fatal blows. So or his fatal blow is the one from that we saw in the trailer. So that's where he goes all crazy and shoves the kunai right into their face and the blood splatters out of the back of their head and all sorts of crazy fun stuff like that. Any
Yeah.
thoughts
So how
on
do you
that?
feel about that? Oh well.
Uh,
Uh,
no, you go. It's fine.
it's okay. I like the first two parts. I like the kicking, the chains,
I
and
like the
then
kicking.
yeah, the kicking. I mean, it's a cool kick, man. He kicks him pretty
Kicks are
far
hype.
out. Yeah, kicks are hype. That part, like, I do kind of wish it just ended on like him pushing the kunai in with his foot because I think the last part where he like kind of grabs your head and then pushes you down. I
Yeah.
never liked that.
Katana
Like
had
in
that. Yeah, in
yeah,
MKX where she pushes your face down on the fans after she's already
it's
shoved
just
them in you.
yeah, it just doesn't look very good to me. I don't like it, but I like the first two parts. If they ended it faster, I would prefer it there. But overall, I think it is my least favorite fatal blow in the game right now.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Smokeman mentions have him headbutt you with the flaming skull. I think
Oh,
so.
that'd be awesome.
He shoves the kunai into your face and then he headbutts it further into your face with the flaming
Oh, that'd be
skull.
sick.
Yeah, I think that would be badass.
Yeah, that's way better.
So then we have his fatalities. We have the one from the trailer where he just basically does a psycho crusher right through you, right? And that psycho crusher
Yeah.
from Bison where he just like does the little. I mean, it's what like kind of like Raiden has, but he just jumps
Mhm.
right through you, does the Superman right through you, tears off most of your abdomen area with just the spine hanging off. Not sure how that works, but it looks cool. And then he cuts your head off, kicks it,
Kicks it.
and
Yeah.
then pulls it back with the spear. So yeah, no, I think that's a cool fatality. Obviously, we saw it in the trailer, so no real surprise there. And then the other one
It's
is
cool. Yeah.
go ahead.
I would like to point out that it doesn't look very good. The start of it, especially where like he flames up. I saw a side by side comparison, and it
Yo,
looks almost like mobile quality. Like the way
yeah,
he flames up, it doesn't look very good.
yeah. You know,
But
I personally don't think anybody looks good when they light up, but you know,
yeah, I just don't really like the post
it's like an
mortem.
anti-smoking ad. All of a sudden comes, don't light up. You'll look like a mobile game. All right. His other, I agree with you though. His other fatality is where he throws a spear in your chest, right, and then he jumps over you, and then the spear is wrapping around over the top of your head. He goes down through like a hell portal, and then comes back up all the way. So he basically goes all the way around you with his spear. It heats up, and then it essentially burns you in half, essentially.
Yeah, he like
So
jumps up and tugs on it. Yeah,
yeah, and then
I love it. Yeah,
it's a good tug, and he comes back up and splits you in half, and that's kind of why we didn't think that we would see the rope back because I mean I guess you could. I mean it's all magic, right? So you
Mhm.
can magically or whatever use his abilities to heat up a rope, or maybe it's like a one and done rope. But yeah, I it may not make sense, but it would still be cool to have the rope. Come on.
Definitely. Yeah, and someone pointed out like he used like some type of like I don't know what it's called. It's like some type of wire or something. In Deadly Alliance, it was more sturdy
Yeah.
looking, so they could do something like that. And how do you feel about the fatal though?
I think it's badass. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
we had a lot of the split in half fatalities in previous games and stuff like that, but man, this has such style. I can't complain. Plus, this is one of the first few that we see, so we
Yeah,
don't know if that's going to be like a common theme or they're split down the middle like that. But it looks good, super stylish, and yeah, no,
I like
it's
that it's quick too. It's nothing like super like over exaggerated or super like
Yes.
first one I do think is like one of the worst fatals in the game right now, but like the second one it's like wow, they just did it. It's like simple, it's fast, it's creative, it's really good. I
Agreed
like it.
wholeheartedly. It looks beautiful, and
I love that he just travels under too. Like that's just sick.
yeah, in the
Like
trailer, in the gameplay trailer that they showed at the event, that was such a badass moment where they did that. It
yeah,
worked really well. Yes.
I agree.
And then moving on to his brutalities. So we have one where his walking flame breath turns into a full on toasty, which
Mhm.
badass, of course. Anytime you get like classic fatalities like that in the way of a brutality, I think that is awesome because
It's yeah.
they're much more fitting as brutalities these days than fatalities, because the fatalities are so overdone that when you do a classic one, it's just like, oh well, that was kind of underwhelming. But when you do it as a brutality, it's just pure hype.
Yeah, it's like something like a toasty wouldn't really work as a fatality nowadays because of how crazy everything's gotten. But like as a brutality, it's like it happens naturally in the gameplay. It's awesome. Also, I'd like to point out that after the brutality, he like pops off with like a flame breath. He just kind of
Yeah, yeah, he's
like
just
a
like,
dragon. He just like
yeah, dude.
it's so sick. Like I love that type of shit. It's just like
Yeah,
small little personality. He's like, I'm fucking Scorpion. I'm gonna pop off with some flame breath. Like
dude,
it's
and there.
so cool.
No, I wholeheartedly agree, and that kind of goes along with what Smoke Man was saying here in the chat. He says, "I don't think fatality should be about what happens to the opponent. It should be about how your character does it." Absolutely, 100% preach it, because it doesn't matter exactly what they're doing. To a degree, I can, obviously there's a cringe factor where you're like, "Oh, that looked like
Mhm.
that hurt," but ultimately it's about the style, right? What separates how Scorpion does this particular fatality versus somebody doing a similar fatality should always be how they use their powers, the style in which they do it. So I wholeheartedly agree 100%. And it's kind of like why we're all hoping for friendships back or babalities back, in the sense of it just adds to that character's personality even further. They're using their powers in unique ways.
I was
So
gonna say the
agreed.
exact same thing. Yeah.
Other brutality that we saw, there may have been more, but these are the two that we noted down for sure. Was the other one where he pops your spine out, which just looks absolutely, I mean, it lives up to the name of brutality because that just looks brutal and it sounds brutal, where he
It
grabs you
does.
by the neck in like a guillotine fashion, and then he just kind of pops his arms down, so it pops the spine right out of the back. The rest, everything stays intact, so like the head stays on and everything, but it just pops the spine out of the back. That is brutal.
He literally blows your back out. Like it's so
Yeah,
cool.
dude.
Like I love like the kick too. Like he kicks you in the I guess the shin and then like kind of like breaks your arm and then pops the spine out as like the final blow and like blood covers him and it like you said like too they're not like overdoing it like in X with some brutalities where like the head would just like fall off for no reason or like the head would pop for some bullshit reason. It's like no, it's just simple kill execution. It's like it's brutal and it looks sick.
Yes, absolutely. All right, well, that's the gameplay covered. And then all we really have left here to cover with Scorpion so far in Mortal Kombat 11 is story elements. And we kind of talked about that briefly in passing, where going over like story possibilities or hopes. Do you want to see classic Scorpion come out of this or modern Scorpion come out of this alive? Because I doubt our theories of story is that you're going to have some classic versions remain, and you're going to have some modern versions of characters remain going forward from this timeline. However, we proceed from this game, I imagine essentially certain versions are going to be the last man standing and then move on. Do you want classic Scorpion or do you want modern Scorpion?
I'd probably take modern. Like I'm not the biggest like lore guy or whatever, and I do like normal Scorpion in the classic timeline, like the Elder Gods champion
Right.
shit was interesting and all that, and I do like Scorpion in the original timeline, but I feel like this Scorpion has been more developed and has more potential to go forward, so I'd probably
Agreed.
take him.
Agreed. I wholeheartedly agree. I think if we went back to classic Scorpion, I feel like we're going backwards in that
Yeah, we're
regard.
digressing. Yeah.
Yes, because Scorpion is one of the characters that definitely has benefited from this new timeline and how things have played out. So yes, I want classic Scorpion needs to be put down like a rabid dog. Like someone, he needs to be put at peace by being eliminated, and his the thing that he can take before he dies will be that in this modern timeline, he got everything he wanted. Basically,
Honestly,
he got his redemption, he got peace, and now he can rest with that.
I kind of want like the Predator handshake. It's like, yo, you killed Quan Chi in this timeline. Like,
Yeah,
fucking, yeah,
you
just like,
son of a
yeah,
bitch. Oh yeah, that
that'd be
would be
so
beautiful.
sick.
I agree. That
We're
would
just like
be
best buds. That'd be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, dude. Oh man, that would be good. So other than that, I mean, like in terms of hopes and possibilities, I do want to see them interact. I'd like to see old Scorpion interact with new Sub-Zero. But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything beyond that from a. Scorpion really needs this to happen. I can't think of. I mean, he got his redemption in X. He got to
Yeah.
cut off Quan Chi's head. He got peace with Sub-Zero. He got to kind of mentor Takeda. Like he's got a lot of
Well,
things going for him. So I don't know where else I would want to take him.
I agree. And so we saw him throw a spear at Kung Lao and Liu Kang, and it looks like he's trying to stop them or something.
Yeah.
From what I see, I don't think he's trying to kill them. I think he's trying to save them, maybe because he's the one. He's kind of involved with this. I think that's the same scene where Chronica is. So maybe he's trying to stop them from interacting with her or some shit. But he fails and like bails by dabbing out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck's going on, but like
yeah.
I'm not a good like lore guy. Like Razor's got all that shit on deck, so
Yeah, that's why
that's
we
just
have
what
the
I'm
Lost.
guessing.
But yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
it's still a must.
yes. No, I mean, but yeah, just I mean, I think that's the big takeaway is let's let modern Scorpion move on from this, and let's let old Scorpion finally rest in peace, and let that be the end, for Scorpion, the old crazy Scorpion. Now we have chill Scorpion. So absolutely.
Agreed.
Um, let's see. Yeah, I mean that pretty much covers everything Scorpion related. We covered the design, we covered the gameplay, we covered the story, we covered some of our favorite things about Scorpion. Do you have anything left to add?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm happy with how he looks. He looks way more interesting than I ever expected Scorpion to look. I hope he does get an orange alt shader because I've always liked the orange alt color that he had. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like he will have that, but
In MK4, it looked especially good. I thought it
yeah, I
really
loved
looked
it in
good in
that
there.
game.
Yeah,
I agree.
agreed. But
What about
yeah,
you though?
no,
Anything?
I'm the same. I feel like we covered it, and I feel great about Scorpion. I mean, I guess we could rate overall how we feel about his overall design, gameplay, everything that we know about it. Well, let's do a letter grade, I guess. I don't know. We don't really talk about
Uh,
this. I'm unprepared. I will go
let's see.
first. I'll say for letter grade for Scorpion in this game, I'm gonna give him an A. I just feel like he's really, really, like I said, probably the best he's ever been. Gameplay, design, everything, in my opinion.
I'd probably give him the same, like an A or A minus. Like I don't know what they could do to improve it. Like he just I can't think of anything that would like just dramatically like add to him. I just think this is like the best Scorpion for sure.
Absolutely. So, on that note, we are going to wrap up this episode of the Random Select, and we covered Scorpion in Mortal Kombat 11. We haven't quite nailed down what we are going to cover next, be it a stage or a character. So just stay tuned. Like I said, this is kind of a pilot episode, so if you enjoyed it, please let us know in the comments and like it, subscribe. More importantly, come join the Discord. Come listen to us record live. Maybe come on the show with us to voice your desire or fandom towards a certain character, what you love about them. We'd love to have you on if you're interested. And then, yeah, come just join. We have a live chat going on, and it's a fun experience, hopefully, for everybody. And yeah,
It's like
definitely
you
come.
can add things too. It's like you were answering a lot of like people
Yeah.
commenting on things in the
Oh
chat that
yeah.
we didn't
We're
think of.
trying to
So
be we're trying to be more interactive with this type of show and really make it more community focused. I mean, we try to do that a little bit with all of our shows, but this one especially I want to be just more about everybody's feelings on this character, cuz get your opinions out there, get your voice heard. I mean, that's why we're all here anyways. You don't go to Discord, you don't go to social media, to Reddit, to message boards. You don't do any of that just for the fun, just for whatever. You do it because you want to discuss these things with people. So if you want to get your voice heard, come join the Discord. You can take part in the live chat and the live recording, or even come on the show. So on that note, thanks everybody for tuning in. We will catch you very, very soon with another episode because, I mean, if we're going to cover every single character and every single stage in this, obviously we got to hit these a little. I mean, we can't do these one a week, so we'll figure it out. Obviously, it's going to be between how much we can, make time for this. But I think we both have some time, so we will make this happen. So, anyways, thanks everybody once again for tuning in, and take care.
Yeah, thanks guys. See ya.
No, I'm gonna need you to sound a little more hyped than that when you're exiting. Talk about how much you loved Scorp. I don't know. Fuck it.
He's good. He's good.